In today's tutorial, I'm going to be doing a demonstration of the brand new WordPress Gutenberg Editor. Now, if you don't know what the new Gutenberg Editor is, this is a block-based editor as compared to a basic simple text editor that we had before. So I'll be covering quite a lot of things here, the changes, how to add simple content, and if you have old content, how to edit that old content as well. So there's a lot we'll be covering today. At the end of this, I'll be also doing a review just to give you my take on this new editor. Hi, my name is Mac from macuniversity.com, where I create web design and marketing tutorials. Now, before we begin, if you're brand new to web design and you'd like to learn how to use WordPress, or you've been using WordPress, but now you want to discover the power of WordPress, I have a free course that I'm giving away, and this course is based on this brand new Gutenberg editor. It's absolutely free. The link to that is in the description below. All you have to do is to sign up to enroll onto the course. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let me show you how this Gutenberg editor works. So when you first log onto your website, you're going to see this notification which says WordPress 5.0 is available, please update. Now, if you're running WordPress on a production website, I recommend that you don't update to WordPress 5.0 because there might be issues that could cause your website not to work well. So until you're sure that everything is working okay, and just give it a bit of time before you do this update. But in this case here, I'm just going to go ahead and update and just show you how this works. But before I do that, I want to show you the old editor first and then show you what it's going to look like after. So if I come over here to pages, and by the way, it's going to look the same for posts as well. So if I click here on add new, you'll notice that we just have a basic area here to add our text. So you can just start typing away. If you need to add a video, you'll need to add your video as a link. So the new way of doing things now is totally different. It's all going to be block based. So this is the old editor. So now I'm going to show you what things look like in the new editor. So I'm going to come over here like I did before, add a new page, and you're going to notice that this is totally different. Okay, so it might be very shocking and surprising in the beginning, but you know what? Let's go through this and let me show you how this works. So first of all, I'm going to disable this, and then we're going to give this page a title. So we're just going to say page 1. So let's add our content. So I'm going to come over here and just click anywhere in that area there and paste my content. So what you notice right away here is everything here is much easier to locate and much easier to work with. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So if I come back over here, our page title would have to go here on the top, and then our text would have to come here. So as you can see, the interface is totally different. So let's go ahead and add more content. So now I'm going to add a block. So the rule of thumb here is every time you want to add something new, always look for the plus button, okay? So over here on the top, if you click this plus button, so what we're going to do now is to add an image. So I'm going to click here on the image block. So now it's giving us the opportunity to upload our image. So I'm going to come over here, click on upload. And then I'm just going to go for this image here that I downloaded online. So now our image is in place. Great. And then over here, back to the old editor, if you wanted to add an image, you would have to come over here, add media, select files, and then upload it this way. And then insert into page. So you can see here, it has more steps in the old way of doing things, but in the new way of doing things, it's much quicker. Now, if you were to edit this image here, it would be quite difficult because we only have very limited options here to edit this image. But with the new editor, if I come over here and click on this actual image, we notice that there's quite a lot of settings. So first of all, over here, we can change the block type if you want to. We can center it. And we can go into this pencil icon and edit the image. Now over here, we also have more options. So if I click here, we notice that we can duplicate this. We can insert before, insert after. So there's quite a lot of things that we can do here now with this new editor. So over here to the right, you can also do some more customization. So you can set this to 25%, 50%, 75% and 100%. Okay, so this is a quick way of actually changing the sizes of your images. And then over here, you can also select the image size. So you can go to full size, medium, thumbnail. Okay, so if I go to full size here, you'll notice that this is going to cover the whole area here. And then over here as well, you can link this image to a custom URL or to a media file. So let's say you want that when someone comes to this website, they click on this image, it takes them to a specific website or another page. You can do it here as well. And then on the bottom here, we also have this advanced tab. So if you click this advanced tab, you can also add additional CSS. So for those of you that are comfortable using CSS, this is where you can come and add your CSS. And then over here, we also have these image settings where you can add your alternative text, which is good for accessibility. Great. So over here, we have the document. Now, in fact, I have to go back here for you to see what the difference is. So this is the part that we have here on the right. So as you can see already, we have quite a lot of options that we can play around with the new Gutenberg editor. So over here, you can also set your featured image. So you can come over here, set your featured image. So ideally, I'm just going to set my featured image as the image that I've just used, but of course you can use any other image. So I'm going to select it here and then click on select. So now we have our featured image, which is great. Over here on the bottom, we also have the ability to allow comments on this page. So at the moment it's disabled, but you can enable it and then people can, leave comments on this page. And then further down here, we also have page attributes. So this can be a parent page of something. If you have a long list of pages here that you want the page to be a parent of. And also here you can add the order as well. Now on the top here, this is very important. So this is where you get to publish immediately, or you can set it to pending, or you can move it to trash. I think this is quite straightforward to use, but you know what? Let's add more content and play around with this layout and come up with different type of layouts that you could not achieve if you're using the old way of editing our pages. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do something really different. So I'm going to click again on this plus button to add my block. And now I can choose which block I need to add. So here I'm going to scroll down and you notice there's more when you scroll down. So don't be fooled by just taking a look at these and just thinking that these are the only ones. There's actually more if you come over here. So if I click here on common blocks, it shows us the common blocks that we have. And then we also have layout elements. Now, this is something that we don't have in the previous editor. So let's take a look here and see how this works. So if I click on layout elements, we can actually add columns. Okay, so let me just show you how to do that. So I'm going to click here on columns and right away you can see here that now we have columns. So let's say I want to add some text in here as well. So I'm going to paste some text in here. I'm also going to paste some text in there. So now I've just created a 2-column layout. If I come back over here to the old editor, do you notice that it's impossible to add your columns here unless you really go in and start doing your CSS and maybe even going into the PHP to achieve that. And for most of us that want to just create a website where we want to publish content, this will be too much headache for us. But with the new editor, this is now achievable. Now let's see what we can do with these columns. So if I select this one here, again, we notice that we can make quite a lot of changes here. So let's say I highlight this text over here. I can make it bold. I can make it italicized. I can also make it link. Okay, so let's say I want to link this word here. All I have to do is to highlight it and then click the link button and you can add your link. So at the moment, I'm just going to add a blank link. Okay, just to keep things simple, right? Let's see what else we can do. If I click here on these more options, those 3 dots, again, we can see that we can duplicate this, which makes your workflow much, much faster. Okay, you can also set it as a reusable block. So let's say this is something that you're using over and over again. Instead of going back and redesigning it over and over again, you can just add it to a reusable block, which means that you can use it, but you can find it much easier. Now, for those of you that want to still use HTML, you can also come over here and edit as HTML, which is fantastic. Right, so let's take a look at what else we can do. So notice that every time I click here, there's more options that come over here. Look at how cool this is. If I come over here to the color settings, I can actually set my background color. Look at that. And automatically it changes the foreground color to white to make it easier to read. Now, this is a concept that we have in graphic design or design where contrast is very important. And this is out of the box in the Gutenberg editor. So this is fantastic. And you know what? I'll be covering a lot of this in the Gutenberg course. So make sure you sign up for that course. The link to that is in the description below. Okay, so let's come over here to the font size. So this is where you can come in, change the font size. You can make it large. You can make it normal. You can make it small. So there's quite a few options here you can play around with to customize the font that you want to edit over here. Right, so just note that every time you want to edit something, you have to click on it. So if you click on it, that's where the options come over here to make your changes to. Okay, so let's continue and add more blocks. So what I'm going to do again here is to click this plus button. So notice that every time I'm adding something, we are clicking the plus button. Okay, so let's say you want to add a heading. You can always go to the heading tab here. I'm not going to add every single element on this page, but I just want to show you how easy it is to work with all these new items with all these new blocks that we have. So I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to come to embed and I'm going to embed a YouTube video. So I'm going to come over here, click this button. I'm going to come over here to YouTube and then I'm going to copy a link to my video and then come back to my editor. So all I have to do now is to paste my link, click on embed, and my video is in. So that's how easy it is to add videos onto your layout. So let's do something different as well. Let's add a new block, but this time I'm going to come over here to widgets. So here you can add latest posts. So you can just click on it and right away it's added. And at the moment, I just have this hello world, which is the default post that comes with a brand new WordPress install. Right, so let's say you want to delete this. All you have to do is to select it, click more options, and then click remove block. So now that is gone. And also, let's say you want to move this above. And this is really cool because if you come over here to the left, you can just click this little arrow and move it up. And now my video has been moved up and this now is on the bottom. And again, if you want to move it up again, you can just swap it by just doing that. And what you could also do is to actually grab this and drag it over here to the right. So this is also a drag and drop editor. So what I've just done right here is what you get when you use page builders. So I think this is really, really a good feature. Okay, so moving on here, if you want to add more content, you can always add a new block. So I'm going to click this plus button here. This time I'm going to add a heading, but I want my heading to come over here. So as you can see, I'm actually specifying where I want my text to go. So I'm going to call this heading. And let's say I want to add more text. I can add a completely new block, or I can just continue adding my text onto my existing block. So if you want to go back into your existing block, you just come in here and you can just paste all your content just like that. And I've just created a basic layout here by using the blocks. And this is what's new to Gutenberg. Right. So what we need to do now that we have this content, let's take a look at a preview. So if I click here on preview, this is what it looks like. Actually, it's not too bad. So let's say you're not happy with the way it looks. Now take a look here. What you can also do, which is something that you can't do with the old editor, is to make this image full width. So if I come back over here, notice what happens when I click here on full width. This page now goes across and pretty much covers the width of my page, and then my content continues here on the bottom. So this could be a layout that you could go with, and I think this is a very, very good option. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's preview this page. So again, I'm going to click here on preview, and now this page is full width. Look how beautiful that is. So far, as you can tell from the way I'm excited about these new features, I really, really like this new editor. Okay, so coming back over here, let's see what else we can do. So let's say you want to change this image completely and use a different one. Well, that's straightforward. You just click on it. You click here on this little icon, and then you can change the block type. So you can either change this to a cover, it can be a file, it can be media and text, it can be a gallery. So let's transform this to a gallery and see what that looks like. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add more images. I'm going to click open. Now look at that. Now this is amazing. Look at how beautiful this gallery has just been created just by adding all my images in. If you were trying to do that over here, it's close to impossible because this old editor here is very, very limiting. So this is the power of the Gutenberg editor. You can just create your galleries just like that. So now let's take a look and see what this gallery looks like when you publish the page. So I'm going to click here on publish, and then I'm going to view the page. Okay, so now this is our main image that we've added as my featured image. And then over here, we can see here that our gallery is in place and all our content is right there, and people can actually leave comments. So what we're going to do now is let's come over here and delete this image and see what happens to the main page. So I'm going to remove this image, click update, and then we're going to do another preview. So now you see that that huge image now is gone. So that image only comes on when you set a featured image on the side. But now let's cover the things that I think are important as someone who wants to customize their website. So one of the things that you want to do is probably change the font. So if I come over here and click in here, we notice that on the right here, we only have the ability to change the font size, but we can't change the actual fonts. So ideally, this would be much better if we could go in and choose some Google fonts to really customize our website and make it look different. So that to me is a negative. And the second thing as well is we don't have a lot of options here to customize our page or our theme. So let's go to the theme editor and let me show you what I mean by that. So if I come over here to themes, customize. So we see that this is our basic theme. I mean, it's just too white. There's a lack of color here, but we can't change a lot. So we can obviously change our primary color here. And you can see here, it only changes the button and the links. But other than that, it doesn't do much. So you can see here as I'm moving this around, it's making those changes. Now, if I come back over here with the menus, of course, I'll have to create a menu which will direct people to which pages they need to click to when they come over here to the top. And I'm looking for the option where you can actually set up your menu to have it a specific color and make it look good. But as you can see here, there is quite a few options that we can play around with to really customize this. But you know what? I don't think I'm doing this justice because the Gutenberg is all about the editor itself. So right now I'm talking about the theme options, but I guess this is something that could be added later on as WordPress evolves. So when you talk about just the editor, I'm really, really impressed by this editor, especially for beginners, because everything that you want to do here is very, very straightforward. You can just decide what you want to do by coming over here to this plus button. So if you click this plus button here, you can say, right, okay, I want to add a list. Click on that, and straight away you get your list of things that you want to add. So you can say 1, add, press enter, 2. So you can see how easy it is. So let's say you're done with that. You come over here, click this plus button, and this time you want to add, let's say you want to embed a Vimeo video. You can come over here, press Vimeo, and you can add that straight away. And you can see here, there's quite a lot of things to add onto your page. We have Spotify, we have Instagram, Facebook. You can embed specific things there as well. And you also have Twitter. So this is more power. Now, just looking at this old editor here, this is left in the dust. Now, if for whatever reason you don't want to use this Gutenberg editor or it's causing a lot of problems on your website, well, there's an easy fix for it. All you have to do is to come over here to plugins, click on add new. And what you need to do is to search for the classic editor. In fact, it's right here. It's very popular. So click install now. And then once installed, you need to activate it. And then when you go back here to your pages and click, let's say, add new to add a new page, you'll notice that now the Gutenberg editor is gone and you're reverted back to the old classic editor. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not running WordPress 5. You're still running WordPress 5, but what you've just disabled is the editor, the Gutenberg editor. So you will still get updates. So it's very, very important that you upgrade to WordPress 5. But if you don't like the editor, you can just revert back to the classic editor by installing the plugin. So as you can see here, although we have the classic editor, we can see here that we still have version 5.0 installed. So for those of you who are really panicking or not sure or hate the new editor, in my opinion, this is a great way forward and it can only get better. And I'm sure as time goes on, new features, new updates are going to be added to make this even a much better editing experience. So once again, if you want to learn more about this new editor, I go deep into how to use it. And in the course, I also talk about the themes that you need to use that work really well with WordPress 5, which can just make your website look really awesome. So there you have it. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to go to macuniversity.com and sign up for this free WordPress mastery course. It's absolutely free, no strings attached. So go ahead and sign up for that course. And also, if you want to watch more tutorials on web design and marketing, please do hit the subscribe and bell notification. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.